Welcome back, everybody. It's now time for What's Hot. This is where we talk about those stories that have everybody talking.
We're joined by Barb Bartlein of the People Pro, plus Jeff Wagner is back. The battle over electronic devices on planes continues. The nation's largest union of flight attendants says the FAA should have upheld a ban on the use of smartphones and tablets during takeoff and landing. They argue the devices distract passengers from safety instructions and could fly out of their hands. Now, should the FAA reinstate that ban?
I definitely think they should. However, if part of the goal is to get flyers to listen to the instructions, good luck with that. Nobody listens to the instructions, and it's not the cell phone that's getting in the way. But I do have an issue with the phones and the iPads and everything being out. I was on an aborted takeoff in Denver, and let me tell you, when that engine quit and we kind of fell out of the sky, things were flying all over the place. I don't need to get hit in the head because Joe Mahoney behind me can't hang on to his phone.
Well, I appreciate that. I get it, and this is a different issue than people talking on their cell phones during the course of the flight. That I think most people would say, no, you know, it's good to keep that away. But here's the thing: I have to admit, I rarely pay attention. I'm sorry, I'm a bad person, but I rarely pay attention to the instructions. I've been on a lot of planes. I think I know how to handle it. So even if I don't have a tablet, I've still got a book, I've got a newspaper, I've got something else in my hand. So I'm not going to necessarily be paying attention. And in the horrible situation that you're talking about, Barb, if something's going to go flying, okay, it's going to be, my Game of Thrones Volume 4, which is pretty heavy anyway. So I'm not sure that this accomplishes what they're trying to do.
Yeah, I totally agree, Jeff. And by the way, I don't want to be on a flight where you're in the exit lane because I don't know if you listen to the instructions. But you're right. People don't listen to them. But I am worried about things flying around the inside of the plane.
I think Jeff may
the point I've always made,
racked up enough miles in the sky where he knows how to open the door.
Yeah. Well, the point I've always made is, though, that at least I understand the argument that you want people paying attention and stuff. I've never understood the electronic device is going to screw up the communications because, candidly, if the only thing between the plane being able to take off and not is me on my tablet, I'm not sure I want to be on that plane in the first place.
All right. Coming up next, we reveal the viewer's choice topic of the day.
And Jesse Ritka is back with another look at your full forecast. Viewer's choice topic of the day.
Again, we are joined by the People Pro, Barb Bartlein and Jeff Wagner from 620 WTMJ. This is the viewer's choice topic today. Two tech giants offering female employees a rather unusual benefit. Facebook and Apple will now cover the cost of freezing a woman's eggs. Jeff Wagner just kind of made a little face back there. Typically, this runs about $10,000 plus $500 more annually for the storage. Your thoughts on this? Jeff, since you made the face, I'll let you go first.
Well, okay, of all the different burning employee-employer issues, you know, we're talking about who should pay for health care and should there be vacation and sick leave and all that type of stuff. This strikes me as being pretty far down the list. Now, if you've got an employer that figures they can afford it and they want to do it, I think that's great. If the question is, should employers be mandated to do this, my answer would be, I don't think so.
Well, I see a bigger issue with this, Jeff, because the implication is that you can't have a high-powered career and children. Or in other words, you better delay having children, or we'll at least make that available to you so you can pursue your 60 hours a week with us. I think the real issue is looking at how can we make workplaces more hospitable to women that want to have a family. You know, on and off tracks, so they call them the mommy tracks, you know, where you can take some time off when you have a child, or on-site daycare, sick days. I think this is missing the real issue.
Well, you know, it's interesting. If I were a female and I worked for some employer who said, okay, here's what we wanted you to do. We don't want you to become pregnant. Instead, we want you to freeze your eggs and we'll pay for it.
Right.
I think, to your point, that might be where I decide maybe I'm going to try to find another employer if that's really the motivation behind this.
I have friends female friends who work for Apple. It's the equivalent of training for the Olympics when you work in a high power position for a company like Apple. And, you know, there are some things that you prioritize. I'm going to take 15 years and work my butt off for Apple and make a lot of money and then start a family when I have a big cushion of cash to sit on. Okay, I'll let that
There
be the
you go.
final word there. Lightning
guess
round
so.
time now.
Halloween is just a couple weeks away. Millions of kids will be going door to door looking to get their hands on some treats. But of course, you can guarantee a few of those trick-or-treaters will be teenagers. So how old is too old to trick-or-treat? What do you guys think?
I personally think you're never too old. I don't see why this is an issue for people. If teenagers want to dress up and act appropriately and go out with groups of kids and have some fun, that's fine. I don't see an issue with it. And by the way, there was an informal poll online. 25% of people agree with that.
Well, see, here's my rule on this. I don't care about the age. As a matter of fact, you know, if you're 45 years old and you want to come to my door, I'll give you candy. But I do have a couple rules. First of all, you need to be in a costume.
Yes.
The idea of like the 17-year-old kids just showing up in the Packers jersey and wanting candy, that's something. And I do ask that you say trick or treat and heaven forbid thank you. But other than that, come to our house, you will do very well.
What is a qualifying costume?
Yeah, it sounds...
The sheet with two holes in
It sounds like a lot of
Steve
rules.
Chamraz is taking notes. He's like, okay, I got to go to
Are
Jeff.
you a whole candy bar guy, or are you with a handful of pennies? I mean,
You're
where
not
are
the
you
one
on that
giving
scale?
out pennies, are you, Jeff?
Oh, no. This
Okay.
is a big deal for my wife. You do well coming to our house because what
Okay.
she does is she buys a ton of candy and we end up, I mean, and it's the good stuff. We're talking the Reese's and Snickers and stuff, and you'll get a handful at our house. My wife embraces the spirit of Halloween, but if you're 17 years old, you got facial hair, and you show up and
Wear
you're
a
not
mask,
in a
is what you're
costume,
telling us.
well, you're going to get a lot less than the little kid in the Frozen outfit. That's the rule.
All right. The What's Hot discussion will continue online. Find it at tmj4.com/hot. Thank you both.